It's a big match for the upgrade Mumbai Masters led by MVL on the top board, and his opponent is the world champion Domaraju Gukesh from the PBG Alaskan Knights. A super exciting struggle. Gukesh in this tournament started off quite poorly. He lost to Firuza and Vishy Anand and then to Hikaru as well, but he has been scoring some wins. He's beaten Caruana, he's beaten Ali Reza, and in their previous encounter, MVL drew against Gukesh with the black pieces. He now has the white pieces. He needs to strike with white if his team has any chance of finishing in top 2. Meanwhile, the PBG Alaskan Knights, the team of Gukesh, will try their best to spoil their opponent's chances. Gukesh zones in and it's 20 minutes without increment, and only after 40 moves do you get those 2-second increments. E4 is what he starts with, and Gukesh plays the Sicilian D6, and we have the open Sicilian here. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, knight f6, knight c3 and a6. The Sicilian Najdorf is on the board. Wow. MVL is considered to be one of the biggest experts of the Najdorf with black, and Gukesh is taking him on in his own territory. E5 played, and now the main move here is knight to b3, but MVL plays knight f3, which is also popular. The idea is to keep the bishop here on b3, so the knight is not there, and there you see the bishop comes out, black castles and white castles as well. Gukesh now brings his knight to c6, all very natural. You will see that the d6 pawn is a bit weak, so is the d5 square, but in return you have like space here with your pawn on e5. Your pieces are developed, bishop can come to e6, which he does. If you take, he wants to take back with the pawn, controlling the d5 square. And now knight to d5, an important moment. You can't take the pawn because of bishop b6 and you lose the knight. That was the idea of rook e1. So he plays b5, attacking the bishop. The bishop can drop back, but MVL goes for this very direct approach. He takes the knight, bishop takes f6, and now you can take and play a4 or bishop d5, so that if takes, you can take back with the queen. He does take it, bishop d5, queen d5, and Gukesh goes queen c7, defending the knight, threatening knight b4. So c3 played, stopping it. The d6 pawn is a bit weak. It has to be carefully taken care of, like rook f d8, rook a c8. He goes rook f d8 here, and a4, striking there. Knight to e7, attacking the queen. The queen comes back to d3. Can we break in the center with d5? But b5 pawn is hanging, so he goes queen to c6, an excellent move, keeping pressure, defending the b5 pawn. MVL now takes on b5, pawn takes b5, and chops off on a8, rook takes a8, and h4 played, taking away the back rank issues. Now you have a square on h2, and now d5 played by Gukesh. This is maybe a very good equalizing move, but MVL finds bishop to g5, a very interesting maneuver. Takes, and now you can take with the queen, but after the queen trade should be around equal. So MVL is ambitious. He takes here. Notice if you take with the bishop, edge g5 just clamps down this structure. e5 pawn is weak. So a good move now is h6, forcing you to take here even at the cost of spoiling the structure a bit. He goes knight g6 and g3 played, so that later on when I kick you, your knight cannot jump here to f4. Rook comes to d8, attacking the queen. The position is around equal, very small edge to MVL. He may want to attack this pawn, but now Gukesh can take on g5, and play f5. A bit tactical, but it works. And he must tread carefully here. This is an important moment in the game. He blunders with h5. The point here is knight takes e5, knight takes e5, rook e5. If you take here, your rook is hanging on d8, and this way you win a pawn. So can MVL spot this move, knight takes e5? He would get a free pawn here. And it's an important pawn because after take, even the h5 pawn is a bit loose. MVL takes his time, and here, oh, he misses it. He goes rook b4, and Gukesh is back. He can play rook d5, an excellent move defending both the pawns. The problem, of course, remains here in the position for Gukesh that, I can take here on f6, gf, and spoil your structure. But he goes rook d5. He finds this move that defends both the pawns. Bishop takes f6, and now g takes f6 is a good move. Takes, and knight h2. Now the knight is coming from f1 to e3 to h5. h5 is hanging. He gives up the pawn, which is insane. But now e4, this is a big mistake. The right way to continue was either queen d7 defending here or f4, but with e4, while you do protect this and make square for the knight, the problem is I have knight f1 to knight e3, and it's not going to work. You can see MVL thinking here, knight f1. Let's say if you go knight e5, I have knight e3, check, king g2, and it's all fine for white. But MVL plays rook d4, and Gukesh takes, pawn takes, and now this move f4 makes a lot of sense, because if you take, I have a check and I can pick this up. Can we go f4? The queen takes f5 is hanging. It's under pressure. And f4 should be a good move. But Gukesh takes his time. He's a pawn down in this endgame. He goes for a check. Queen c1. Knight comes back to f1. And now white is clearly better, because if f4, you just lose the b5 pawn. He plays f4. But now just take it. I understand that f3 or e3 can be very, very dangerous here. So it takes, queen takes b5, and now look at this, e3 takes, and you have queen e2 defending b2 and e3. So Gukesh now under huge pressure. He is 2 pawns down. He needs to make use of these pawns to create something in the position. He goes fg, queen to d1, stopping queen e2, check, and queen e8 check. He misses it. Knight to f8 and takes here. The position is now lost. You are 3 pawns down. The d pawn is hanging. Maybe Gukesh gets this pawn on d5, but can't take with the queen. A queen trade is utterly lost. Knight endgame, so takes it with the knight. Queen e8 check. King comes up, and MVL goes for the most direct line, takes this, and now he's 2 pawns up. Very interesting, because if you give a check, I can drop back and defend everything. He plays queen f2, queen comes to e5. Maybe Gukesh has some chances here, especially because, it's not so easy. Ooh, he was going to play his king. He plays his king to g6. Knight to f3, attacking the queen, and queen e4. He goes knight h4 check, king comes up to g5, and queen d2 check. He goes king to g4 and king f2. And the knight jumps in, knight to b4. And another check. King goes back. And a check. And the king goes back even further. Somehow MVL is coordinating all his pieces. Queen d6 check. And now wherever you go, there's going to be a check and you trade the queens. He goes king h5. But queen e5 check, and once the queens are traded, this is a lost endgame because 2 pawns down in a knight endgame, this is not going to work. King f5, knight goes back to c4, the knight comes to d3. And now pawn to b3 gives a check, king e2. And the knight is trapped. Gukesh resigns there. Excellent play here by MVL in the Najdorf. And Gukesh was matching him move for move until a point, but MVL created so many chances for himself. That was just amazing. But with this result, even with this result, the upgrade Mumbai Masters could not win their game, because Dominguez from the PBG Alaskan Knights beat Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, and Sarasadat Khadem Al-Sharia beat Harika Dronawali in a heartbreaking encounter for the upgrade Mumbai Masters. And with this, the PBG Alaskan Knights have reached 12 points on the leaderboard.